I get a lot of requests from you guys asking me to show you how to set up a bullet journal that's really simple and that doesn't take a lot of time to keep up with. So that is what I'm going to be doing. But first of all, I'm going to be sharing this video with you where we're going to have a look over my last bullet journal. We're going to look at some of the spreads that worked and what didn't work, some things that took a lot more upkeep, and those are the things that we're not going to bring forward to my new journal. So we'll look through them. I'll talk you through some things that work well and things that don't, just to give you a little bit of inspiration. We're going to do that today, and then in the next video I'm going to show you how I set up a much more simple bullet journal, one that doesn't take a lot of time to keep up with and that is very practical. So let's get straight in and I'll show you what we did first. So the first thing I wanted to do was come up with a layout that would work for me, that was meeting all the needs that I had from a journal, but also was really simple to keep up with and easy to replicate month to month or week to week. So the first thing I did was look at my old journal, which I've got here, and I've got some post-it notes on the side here and on the top, because I want to show you some examples of things that worked for me and things that didn't last time. So starting off is my future log that I have here, and I've got here the months at the top, and down the side I've got the days of the week and the dates, and I would just fill this in. I did 2 months per page. And this worked really well. I really liked this. It was really practical, and it was also very easy to set up, very quick to set up, and I liked it aesthetically. I thought it looked really neat and organised, and yeah, it was really easy to work. So that was something I wanted to move into my new journal. So I want to show you this spread because this is one that I was really pleased with. I liked how it turned out. I liked that it was really aesthetically pleasing. It looks nice. It's very simple, very clean. I like that about it, but it actually serves a purpose. I referred back to this loads of times to kind of give me ideas of things that I need to do to look after myself, so it was a really useful spread, but it also didn't need any upkeep. It was one that I could just refer back to when I wanted, and it wasn't one that I had to keep going back to and updating. So this is the kind of spread that I would really like to bring forward and put in my new journal. So I just thought I'd share that with you. If time is something that you find is an issue with bullet journaling, then this kind of spread might be something that you can make as a one-off, but you can refer back to, and something helpful to have in your journal. This next one again was one that I really liked having in my journal. I like the fact that it was so clean and simple. It's a meal ideas board. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see what's in the boxes because I've written in pencil, so it's quite light. But what I've got is meal ideas: chicken, fish, beef, pork and veggie. That's the categories. And I've just done a box for each category, and I wrote a list of some of the meals we like to have under each category, and as I thought of ones I could just add them, but it wasn't something that I had to keep up with. It wasn't something that needed regularly maintained. I could do it as and when I wanted, and it was really useful to refer back to because it gave me ideas. If I felt like we'd just been having loads of chicken for a while and I fancied something different, I could look at a different category like pork and look at some ideas there, or fish. And that was a really useful spread, but again, it didn't require a lot of upkeep or maintenance. Okay, so on to weekly spreads. Now I know this is something that I find quite time consuming, and I find it quite annoying sometimes if I'm ready to use a spread but I haven't had time to make it. That annoys me, so I thought I'd show you some examples. This is a spread that I made that I really liked. I loved the colours, I loved the layout, I loved everything about this. I really enjoyed using it, but it just, like I had a lot of time that week to do this. It's just not practical for me to do every week, although I loved how it looked. And an example is, if I can find it, here I created the spread again. I really loved creating this, and I loved how it looked, but I actually didn't even fill in the things. I spent so much time making it that I just didn't use the spread, which defeats the purpose. So I think it's getting a balance between something that you like how it looks, but it's also practical. That was a spread that I really liked the look of, but I didn't have time to keep up with that. This is an example of a weekly spread that I did that I really liked the layout. I liked how it was clean and it looked neat and tidy, and this didn't actually take a lot of work to set up. So this would be a really good kind of spread that you could do from week to week that wouldn't take up much time. This doesn't have room for things like this one had, like for meal planning or tasks, or it didn't have any space for separate things like that. It was basically just a diary to keep track of appointments and things to do. So here is a monthly setup. I just want to show you this as an example So I showed you at the start that this was how I like to set up my future log. This was a really simple and easy to replicate way of doing it. This is one, I really like the layout of this. I find this nice to look at and it's really practical, but it is very time consuming, and I found that I just couldn't do this every month. It was too much to set up. So by just having the future log here, I can add any appointments that come up. So if this is August, for example, which it's not, but if it was, and I had an appointment for November, I know that I can just pop it in here and I don't have to think, oh, I don't have my November set up yet. So although this was a really nice setup, it just wasn't practical. I couldn't set up lots in advance because I just didn't have the time. So although I liked that, it just wasn't something that I could feasibly do every month. Now here is some monthly spreads that I did. I did these in November. This was November goals, and I really liked this setup. I thought it looked nice and neat, and it was quite simple because I don't have great artistic abilities, but I really liked how simple this was. And again, I just filled it out once, and then I could just refer back to it and sort of remind me of my goals. And I like that about it. Things that I have to keep up with, I'm not so good at because I don't always have the time, but I like the fact that I could just fill this in once and it was done. Here I wanted to show you an example of some layouts that didn't work for me. I didn't use this layout. I really didn't like this layout. I don't like the setup of it. I think it looks messy because I've hand drawn it. It's not neat, it's not aesthetically pleasing, and I didn't use it because I didn't like it. So that is something that I won't be doing again. So then from there I decided I would try out a couple of layouts to find out what I liked. Now this was a layout I tried out and I really liked. I like the fact that it's got a space for all my different appointments and things to do. I like having a space for things like meals and tasks, but I wanted to keep it much more simple than the other layout that I told you didn't work. So I really like this one, and I like this. This has got, I saw this on Pinterest, and it's like your ideal day, showing you how you would like your day to lay out. But after I'd done it, I realised that this is not something that I'm going to be able to do weekly, and it's just not practical. So I really liked the idea of this, but I needed to come up with a much simpler way of doing it. So this is the next layout that I came up with. These are all going to be for my new journal, but I decided I would try them out in my old one first to see what worked. I really liked this layout, and I decided that it would be simple enough that I could do each week. And I would really like to have my week set up in advance so that it means that I can add things into the weeks as I'm ready to write them in. So if I've got something in 2 weeks' time, I can write it straight into my weekly planner rather than just putting it in the future log and then having to move it across. I can put it straight in. So I wanted to be able to have loads of weeks made up in advance, and I felt like this was something that I could easily do. So I've used this layout as a template, and I'm going to show you in my new journal how I've set it up.